something looks different now. Your relationship with a friend looks different. Maybe your best friend is not really your best friend anymore, and you feel like it's just in a different way. The dynamics have changed. A job looks different, whatever. You have to grieve what you thought your relationship was going to be like. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of It's That Deep Pod. I hope you're well. I hope you're feeling good. I'm feeling excited, I think, and curious, and just like I'm just anticipating how this episode is going to go. But I also realized that I never introduced myself, or I barely introduced myself. So my name is Winifred. If it's your first time ever listening to any of the episodes on It's That Deep, I am your host. Today's episode, we are diving into grief and the idea of grieving existing in relationships. I've just been thinking about grief in every sense and how we talk about it in a bigger sense when death happens. But one of the most confusing things that I have experienced is grieving the people that still exist on earth, the relationships that I'm kind of in, or I found myself having to kind of navigate in a different way, and just grieving my understanding of that. So since I've been thinking about that, we are going to talk about it in any simple, tiny way we can. You guys, I feel like I'm going to make some mistakes in my pronunciation and kind of interchange the pronunciation a bit. So if I do that, like, just ignore, but I will try my best to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. We're not taught how to grieve those kind of situations, or the dreams and the ideas that we had, and when life kind of comes in and shifts us or disrupts our plans. A lot of times I don't feel like there's any roadmap to grieving that life. It's more like, oh yeah, it happened and let's just keep moving on. But I think that grief is a necessity, right? And it's, to be honest, I feel like it's one of the skills that we have to learn in order to cope in adulting, because it's not the easiest thing and it's not straightforward, but it's always necessary that we confront it, right? I try to think of that in terms of our relationships with our parents sometimes. I think that when we get older, we can have a different understanding of our relationship with our parents, and that can be negative or positive. There's sometimes where we grow up really close with, maybe your dad or your mom, and then as you grow older, that relationship kind of shifts a little bit, and the idea that you had of that relationship, or the experience that you had prior to whatever situation caused a shift in the relationship, sometimes we hold on to that experience, like we hold on to that relationship that we had. I think of that in terms of how sometimes some people struggle to see their parents as like hoarders or mean people, or like manipulative people and whatnot, because that was not how you looked at it when you were a child. Maybe those tendencies, you just kind of understood it as love and care. The relationship that you had, or you were able to have before, where you could have like good conversations with your parents, or you could see them as this young child that you were, and you could go to them for guidance. And now they're having, the reverse is the case. They're having to come to you for guidance, or you feel like you're having to take care of them. I think there's grief in that process. You have to grieve what you thought your relationship was going to be like, right? Where maybe all of you were going to have kids at the same time, or you were going to get married at the same time, or get a job and get this high paying job at the same time, and that didn't happen. You grieve that dream, right? You grieve that desire, and you come into acceptance of the reality that your pace is just different. And so I think all adults have to grieve the childlike mindset, or in terms of timing, in terms of pacing. In what ways can I let go of what I thought was going to be and come into acceptance of what is now? When you do not approach, or when you do not confront grief, you might get stuck in a desire, and you're constantly wanting things to happen in this way. You're constantly trying to control everything, and then you end up feeling frustrated 90% of the time. You're not happy. And I'm saying all these things because, again, I think most of the things I'll say, yeah, I relate to them. Okay. something that sometimes like I'm struggling with, and I'm asking God, like, why is this happening? And the Holy Spirit constantly reminds me that you have to let go of what you thought would be, because that's something that you thought based off of your human mind, right? And there's me, that's God, that has the bigger picture, that is in control of everything. And if you say that you trust, you have to grieve whatever you thought was going to be and come into the acceptance of what it is I'm putting you in right now, while thanking, being grateful, and asking for what it is that you want, right? There are things that we cannot go back in past and change, so you grieve it to move forward. Whatever mistakes you think you've made, whatever ways you thought you could have handled a certain situation, and it takes time. Okay, this is not something that you rush, and it's just like, yeah, I go through this, and now is this is the next step, and this is the next step. It takes time. I've had to grieve something, and that took me, I'm not even joking, maybe like 3 years. It's like a process. It's not something you jump into. But I think that if I did not accept and confront it, I would have still been stuck on that like idea of trying to reconcile or trying to make it work, because that was my picture. Like, that was the idea, the beautiful idea I had in my head of how things were supposed to pan out. And so when it didn't, it was like the disruption was just too much. And so that's when I started learning about grief, and I just stopped associating it with death, and more about, the end of something. Okay, the end of an era, the end of a relationship, the end of an idea, the end of a business, the end of, you know just like a dream, and the process that you thought you had to go through to get your desired outcome. All of that requires you grieving. Okay, I don't know, I feel like I don't have any huge tip for you. I think that the ways that I come into that is just being honest with myself and saying, like, this hurts and this is hard. I thought this is not how I thought it was going to be. I had this idea and this is what it is now, and it sucks and it hurts, and I take that pain to God. I talk about it with my friends. I rant about it. I talk to my therapist, and all these things help me to come into the acceptance. So I think that'll be my tip for you. If you're someone that's struggling with letting go of like something, or just struggling with the idea that something looks different now, your relationship with a friend looks different. Maybe your best friend is not really your best friend anymore, and you feel like it's just in a different way, the dynamics have changed. Or maybe you feel like your relationship with your parents just looks different, a job looks different, whatever. My best thing that I can tell you is, first of all, come into that honesty and realize, like, yeah, I just didn't think it was going to be like this, and I'm struggling. And when you do that, you pray about it and you come to God telling Him, like, I am struggling. I need your help here. I need you to help me to let go. And I need you to help me and my desires to be more aligned with your will for my life. Talk about it with your friends. Be honest. Like, don't try to be tough or be the toughest and strongest in the room. It's very okay to be sad that something did not work out the way you thought it was going to be. So, yeah, I would say expression really allows you come into acceptance a lot more. So before we actually end this episode, I was thinking about doing this thing where I talk about my random thing of the week and just something that I'm loving. So this could be like a physical item, or it could be like an article, a movie, a book, whatever. But I just feel like every time we come on here, I'll talk about something deep, which I love. I really love it. I'm very fulfilled and I thank God. However, I just like, sometimes maybe let us like talk about something that can be a bit lighthearted to end the episode. I don't know what you guys think, but let me know. And I'm a recommender, if that's a word. I love to recommend things to my friends. So I think that personality needs to shine on the podcast. So let's do it, especially now that we're on video. Now that I'm on video, let's do it, right? I don't know how long it's going to last. I kind of just want to try it out and see what it feels like or what you guys are thinking and whatnot. And maybe I'll run out of items to talk about. And so today, I wanted to share my headphones with you guys. I've had these headphones for I think 2 years now. And this is an old fave, okay, but I think it's worth mentioning. The Sony, I'm going to leave it in the description box because I don't know the exact name. I think it's the X4s, I believe. These are the best noise cancelling headphones I've ever used. And I can go head to head with anybody that wants to argue with me. I've tried the Apple headphones, and these are way more comfortable, have better noise cancelling in my opinion, and I love them. I've had, yeah, like I said, 2 years now, and I do not regret this purchase. I think the only thing I regret is that I got the navy blue. I should have gotten maybe like a nude color. I just feel like it's like more my vibe. But this has been nice. When I was having noisy neighbors, oh my god, I talked about that in like season 1 or 2, and I complained when I was having bad noisy neighbors. These headphones helped me. God knew I needed these headphones when I was relocating, because if I did not have these headphones, I think I would have ran mad. The best noise cancelling. Like, it's like I'm in my own world. When I'm traveling, this comes with me. When I am working and I just want to concentrate, when I go on a picnic and I'm just like a solo picnic, I like using this. So yeah, if you're looking for like really nice noise cancelling headphones, I would suggest this. I also reviewed this product actually, I think 2 years ago on my YouTube channel. So I'll link that video so you can actually get a better view. If you're listening to this and you're not watching, you can get like an idea of what I'm talking about, like the exact product. Like I said, I'm going to yap about a product. That's my biggest problem. If I start talking about a product, it wouldn't stop. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We need more subscribers. Share with your friends and leave your comments down below. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.